Hey, welcome to this Windows channel, and this is a quick look at the latest version of Firefox. Firefox is the web browser from Mozilla, and it has updated to version 55 today, August 8th, 2017. Firefox, as we see, is slowly gaining back a little bit of its usage base, but it's still far behind compared to what it once was. But it's still nonetheless an interesting browser, and we'll be, of course, conducting a few experiments and checking it out also for the performance and everything. So the first thing that they promise in version 55 is basically that it promises to use less RAM memory. It promises to be faster. You know, the usual promise of every browser all the time. And, last time when they had a new version, we've looked and we've kind of seen that not always necessarily true. So what's, apart from, the regular everything's faster, everything's better, that they, of course, kind of want you to know, Firefox 55 is has kind of a certain number of new features that are interesting, but they're actually rolling out, and that's interesting because all of those features are not available to everyone. And, I actually even have some of these features still not here, even though I've upgraded to 55. The first one is a web virtual reality kind of set of instructions that makes Firefox kind of the most advanced browser for virtual reality that could happen on the web. So that's going to be interesting to see what and where and how it's used exactly. But that's one of the first things in Firefox 55. It already had some virtual reality kind of a plugin if you want, but it's even better now because it has a set of instructions for that now, with web standards, of course. Now, web extensions will have permissions. So that means every time you add an extension to Firefox, you'll be prompted with, oh, do you want to, this plugin requires permission. And every time a extension actually updates, you'll have to reissue the permission. I think that is nice because, some of you might say, well, it's annoying every time, it updates. Well, actually, I find it really cool because that means if you get, and one of the best ways to get adware, malware, and all sorts of junk is with extensions. By having your Firefox browser actually require that you give permission, it's going to let you know what extensions you're using. And so if you find a funky or weird extension, well, that's cool because you'll be able to, know that something is weird, and maybe it will attract your attention to a little more of what's happening with your browser. Apart from that, Firefox 55 ships also with Adobe Flash plugin restrictions. So Flash in Firefox 55 will require click to play by default, and it's restricting Flash to HTTP and HTTPS pages. Now, there are some of these changes that are not for everybody. What they say about the different changes is that 5% of users will have within 2 weeks some of these settings, 25% of users within a month, and within the next 6 weeks after release, 100% of us should have all of the features. And I'll be checking that out, of course, regularly to see if we need to check out what we will have as new features. Okay, search suggestions enabled by default. This is something new. So if we look at the different search information here, by default here you got a little check mark that says show search suggestions in location bar results. So this is one of the new features that's it was already there, but now it's by default it's on. So that will of course appear in the Firefox address bar when a user starts to type. So they will actually tell you, oh, this is probably where you want to go, or this is a suggestion. If you went there, maybe like this. So, it could be annoying or not. Of course, you can go into your preference in search and make sure that you just disable the show search suggestions stuff. Also, something new is a performance section. Now, not all the different options are there. So, general here at the bottom, you have use recommended performance settings. Mine are still at the basic form, but you'll have hardware acceleration possibility. You'll have you'll be able to limit the number of processes used by Firefox and stuff like that. A new interesting feature, not rolled out to my version unfortunately, but will appear at some point. On the upper right where you have icons here, there will be for some of you a new icon that will appear, and it's screenshot functionalities. With Firefox 55 at some point, and of course when I get it we're going to look at it and I'll have a little video, you have a little icon to do a quick screenshot of anything that you are looking at. You'll be able to resize and say, I want to have a screenshot of only this part of the web page. This is very cool, I think, because screenshots are something that's kind of fun sometimes to have. So once again, it's still in a beta form, so it's not everyone that's got it right now, but it will eventually appear. Apart from other changes on Firefox 55, of course, they added Belarusian locale, assigned custom shortcuts to Firefox on macOS 10. Firefox 55 marks the beginning of theme support. So the browser theme update API has been updated to make it better. Geolocalization of API requires secure origin. So this means that you'll have to be in secure mode in order for it to work well. Loading of mixed content allowed on localhost. Print preview feature to simplify print jobs. Remote jar file are not loaded by default. So Mozilla disabled support for the GAR protocol back in Firefox 45, but it re-enabled it because it broke IBM iNotes functionality. So now they're actually kind of going back to the slowly removing this this functionality. Sidebar can be moved to the right if you wish to. Support for WebVR, web extensions performance improvements, and Windows stub installer simplified. Option to select installation directory or program shortcuts are removed. That means it installs by default to a default folder. No choices. If you need the full installer option, there is a full installer available for Firefox. So there we are. Firefox 55, yeah, is now available, and check it out. I will be testing it out in the next few days, and we'll see what is going to be interesting. And if when new features, all these features actually roll in, I'll be testing them out, talking a little bit about it for sure. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. And thank you so much for following us on this channel.